We have a new one here.
We do, but my notes are in my older one. There were no. And welcome everyone to the Lincolnville Select Board meeting. It is the 10th and it is daylight outside. Yay. Even though spring forward can. Yeah. Now, Colonel, would you care to read the quote of the evening?
I'd be glad to. Personality can open doors, but only character can keep them open. Elmer Leonard.
Thank you very much. And before we get going with our agenda, I'd like to open the podium for any non-agenda items. Seeing no one rushing up to the podium, let's move along to the administrator's report.
Just want to remind people that nomination papers are available for elected office. We have one seat on the select board, one on the school committee, one on the 5-town CSD board, and 4 on the budget committee. All terms are 3 years, except one of the budget committee terms is a 2-year position. Papers are available at the town office during normal business hours. You need at least 25 valid signatures, no more than 100. They have to be returned by 4:30 p.m. on Friday, April 11th, 2024, in order to make the ballot. Got an acknowledgement from MDOT that your letter you sent on the ferry terminal project was received. The project manager is out on leave and there's been a new project manager assigned. So the acknowledgement was more like, got your letter, I'll talk it over with the team. We'll get back to you at some point. So just so you know, they did get it. Our gravel roads, depending on the condition of the weather, can be challenging. We are picking away at doing intermediate repairs as necessary. But I would anticipate that depending on the weather, that's going to last this next couple weeks of on and off repairs. And Deputy Harbor Master completed 3 days of training last week with the Harbor Masters Association to continue his certifications. Inside of that, I think everything's on the agenda.
Any questions for David? All right, let's move along to upcoming meetings and announcements.
All 3 meetings are here at the town office. Select Board is meeting in the workshop regarding community resilience on Monday, March 17th, 6 p.m. For those of you that haven't returned your homework assignments, please do so. Budget Committee is scheduled to meet Wednesday, March 19th, 6 p.m. And the Select Board meets next in regular session on Monday, March 24th, 6 p.m.
Thank you very much. Are there any upcoming community events anyone wishes to share? Seeing none, let's move along. We have 2 sets of meeting minutes. The first from the 24th of February.
I move the board approve the February 24th, 2025 meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Thank you very much. And the second set from an executive session on the 3rd of March.
I move the board approve the March 3rd, 2025 meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Nothing. All those in favor? Thank you all very much. Rapidly moving along, we have our report back on from the Comprehensive Plan Consultant Subcommittee in our interviews and deliberations. David, would you care to give a synopsis?
Sure. Earlier this year, we sought proposals from consultants to assist the Comprehensive Plan Review Committee in their efforts to update the comprehensive plan. The town received 3 proposals back. The panel was established before we received the 3 proposals, including Select Person Hand, Select Person Dunn, Bruce Coburn from the Comprehensive Plan Review Committee, and myself. Since we didn't get overwhelmed with proposals, we interviewed all 3 firms and contacted references for all 3. And the recommendation of the commission panel was that the town move forward with the Mid-Coast Council of Governments for the project.
And we do have Bruce here, our other member, and he's ready, willing, and able, not to put words in your mouth, to answer any questions if anyone on the board has any for him from his perspective of the experience.
I had one just curious question, looking at all three.
Mhm.
Midcoast is substantially lower than the other two.
Mhm.
Is the feeling, or do you guys already know, is it that the other two are more for-profit entities and Midcoast is a not-for-profit or?
That's certainly a piece of it.
It's definitely a piece.
Yeah.
The billing rate definitely is a little different. It's not substantially different, but it's a little different. And I think the way they structured how they're allocating the hours is substantially different. I was concerned about that initially because it didn't seem like we were comparing apples and oranges. In the end, I feel that we're comparing apples and apples. And in some regards, the MCOG proposal actually was providing a little more. For example, the two other proposals were, well, we'll take your language that you've already drafted, that your committee's already drafted, and we'll give you ideas as to how you could improve it, and then we'll write the rest of the chapters. MCOG's is, we'll take your information you've got, we will write the chapters, period. So it was that was a win for me in that part of the discussion. Had it not been for interviews, I never would have ranked MCOG at the top. They were dead. I did 2 rubrics, one before and one after.
Yeah.
They were dead last in my first, and they were neck and neck for number 1 and my second.
Well, I figured it also was a good thing. We know at least 2 of those people. I feel like, or 3, feel like I have a good idea of who they are, and we already have a working relationship as a town with them. So, not that you mean consider them as an edge particularly.
Yeah. But there is a certain amount of familiarity with our process. The players, yeah, for sure. Any other questions? Any questions for Bruce? No? Bruce, do you wish to say anything? Okay. Well, all that being said, does the board want to make a motion then?
I move that the board notify the Midcoast Council of Governments of the town's intention to contract with them pending final contract negotiations and final select board approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And there is, David, did you touch on this? That at a future date, in conjunction with the consultant, across the board, there was a recommendation for expanding the committee and the importance of the need of differing opinions. So I think that'll be something that the board will want to address at an upcoming agenda. All right. And before moving along with our agenda, I need another motion, please.
And then we suspend our meeting as a select board, and then we convene as the Board of Assessors.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And David, do you want to speak to these?
Sure. You have in your packet a memo from the assessor's agent. The first item is a request for abatement regarding a property that has been unoccupied without heat, electricity, or maintenance for several years. An inspection was done by a reval company at the request of our current assessor's agent because he was unavailable to go. And they told him what they saw, and he's made a recommendation that an abatement be granted in the amount of $121,000 something $121,300 in building value, which would reduce taxes by $2,244.05.
would someone care to make a motion?
I move that the board approve and sign abatement number 2024-05 to Lee Jackson as personal representative for the estate of Margaret Miller in the tax amount of $2,244.05.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? And there is a second.
The other item is Betty Hill is in the process of selling some vacant land adjacent to the Belfast Road that is in the farmland program. She has requested that it be removed from the farmland program, which comes with it a penalty commitment. And Vern calculated that at $3,476.
Would someone care to make a motion?
I move the board approve and sign the farmland withdrawal penalty commitment for Elizabeth Field in the amount of $3,476.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And before we can move along, I need another motion.
I move that we adjourn our meeting as the Board of Assessors and reconvene as the Select Board.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I have.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yes.
Did I count those right as 4-0 votes?
No.
We all voted.
Yeah, we all voted.
Maybe you didn't see my hand go up.
You resigned from the Board of Assessors.
It was. Thank you, golly.
Good catch.
Yeah,
That's why we paid her, right?
Yes.
yes, absolutely for nothing. And our other assessor is not here.
No, I dropped the ball on that, not inviting the other assessor, but I
You
did.
didn't drop the ball totally.
Not totally, because it came to me right now.
Yes, so clearly on both of those, it was 4-0. So any further discussion?
Sorry.
Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much, and we are now back as the Select Board. Welcome back.
It's good to be here.
And agenda item number 8 is for public input on fiscal year 2026 municipal budget. Woo, seeing absolutely no one in the audience, let's move along to board deliberations. And so you can either switch to the tab or your other binder with the budget in it, and you want to make sure that you're working off of the draft from February 25th, correct?
Yes.
And if there's no opposition, I guess we'll just begin at the beginning and work our way through. And David, would you interrupt when we get to the appropriate amendments that have come up if I miss them? Someone stop me. All right, so administration and finance. Does anyone see anything amiss or something that they would like to change? And I guess what I would say also here is our opportunity, if we feel resolved in a department or a budget line, that this would be an opportunity to make a motion because we have 9 days until the budget committee.
Do we vote on each line or do we vote on the whole?
Typically, it's been each section.
It's fine.
So administration fund, I mean, if there's, a line that is particularly contentious or egregious and needs to be settled by a vote, you can do it that way, but.
Yeah, so I would say by each department, if that works for everyone. So administration and finance, anything there? Okay, would someone care to make a motion then?
I move the board recommend the amount of $680,487 for administration and finance.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And moving along to page 6, protection animal control, anything there? And if there's nothing, would someone care to make a motion?
I move that the select board recommend $11,024 for protection animal control.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you all very much. Moving along to page 7, protection fire department. Anything there?
We did add the $1,700
$1,700.
request regarding the SCBA.
Yep.
Whatever.
Any other changes or reductions? If not, can someone make a motion, please?
I move the board recommend the amount of $189,777 for protection fire department.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. Skipping page 8, which is descriptions, protection other on page 9, yes, and this is, thank you, ambulance service. David, would you care to speak to this?
Sure, we are continuing our discussions with the partnering communities and Northeast Mobile Health Service regarding EMS, the provision of it. Still a bit of a work in progress, but I'm gonna get my notes here. You see in your packet that what's currently being proposed is to have the first ambulance be housed at the Camden Public Safety Building, which would be staffed by, it would be a Northeast Mobile Health ambulance, staffed one person by Northeast Mobile Health, and a second person either by Camden Fire Department or the first responders. And that would be the primary ambulance for Lincolnville, Camden, and Hope. Backups would still come from Northeast Mobile Health out of Rockport. Staffed fully by Northeast Mobile Health staff. The thought there is this will reduce labor costs for the entities or for the 3 partnering communities. Will also enhance or lessen our response time because the ambulance will be that much closer to the 3 communities versus located in a different community. And there may still be some additional opportunities for cost savings that we're still trying to work with Northeast about. But at this point, I'm comfortable recommending that you reduce your recommendation down to $198,000.
Questions for David? Yeah.
Why split the shift with a Camden? This one, why not to Northeast?
Because Camden has the manpower that they're willing to put forward for it without charging us for it.
There went my question
Seriously? I mean, there's gonna be no charge from Camden.
this year. Is that because they're planning to just see how it goes?
I think we see benefits to a regional entity doing it. As we learned 10 years ago, or whenever Camden First Aid closed the doors, it takes somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 calls to be break even. We weren't running that with the 4 towns, and now we have 3 towns. We lost about a quarter of our call volume. And so what was the question?
So their willingness to have one of their existing first responders do the staffing is possibly because they consider that to be.
Well, they also want to staff up their own municipal fire department.
Right.
So they will have people that will be full-time firefighters and
Also first responders.
also EMS people, so that if they get called at 2 AM for a fire call, they have more people that will actually show up. So they're on, you know, we're in the oldest state in the in the union, and we're Lincolnville's not, but our neighbors to the south and the west are in the oldest county and the oldest state. And they're finding themselves with more needs and more demands than we.
You understand my concern for the word free service. Nothing's free nowadays, and if history repeats itself, which I'm very concerned that it might.
Are,
And I don't want to put anybody in the corner here. I'm just wondering, I'm just asking.
yep,
Do we have an alternative? No, yeah.
not a good one,
Okay.
to start our own.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so what does that bring us to?
268, 868,
268,
868.
868. Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. Thank you, Keith. Okay,
If you're all comfortable with that.
Yeah.
268, 868, Steve can do math.
Well, does someone want to make a motion to that effect if there's no other changes on that page?
I move that the board recommends $268,868 for protection other.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Any further? Discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And moving on to page 10, town office building, anything there? If there's nothing, I'll entertain a motion.
I move the board recommend the amount of $37,153 for town office building.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? No. Oh,
I guess. Is this where we would have put iPad money?
I would have put it under finance and administration where we have the other, I mean, it could be here, but our other computer purchases and whatnot are in finance and administration.
I'm just, I look at the amount of paper that we have in our
yeah.
packets. And at conservatively, at $7-8 a ream, how many reams of paper are you using per meeting? Per week, per month? I think it's in the thousands of dollars. I think a good iPad is between $400 and $450. I think we would need 6 of them. I don't know, that's $2,500, maybe it's less than $3,000, and I think we could cut the paper at least in half. I didn't bring my scribblings like I said I would, sorry about that. But I feel not only for cost savings, but it could be spun as an environmental thing, not using as much paper, so I'm just getting it out there. That's all.
Well, I agree with you, Kern, and, you know, of course, it would save staff time as well, of course, all the way around. But it would require commitment on all board members,
It-
current and future,
It
to stick with that.
Right.
And,
Well, I think current would be, in some cases, be a struggle, but future, I think, would be a must.
no,
It's the technology is evolving and so are people. You know what I mean?
No, I do agree, but I'm wondering if the board needs to put that in writing. That is the policy of the board, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, that's a
To
very,
you, the
very
elected,
good point.
so we're removing the option of paper.
Yeah, there's certainly other towns that have removed the option for paper,
Sure, yeah.
done solely electronic. And if somebody wants paper, they can print it out on their own.
Okay, good point. yeah.
Well, I see this being a bigger conversation before it actually is adopted.
Yep.
But I think it's important. I think it's one of these things that we need to move for the town.
And were you mentioning iPad just as an example or specifically wanting iPhones?
Don't have to be an iPad, it could be a laptop, I mean, but an iPad is easy. It's easy to lug around, it's, you know,
Mhm.
And I always say that because I see the people in my own house using them. The people where I work are using them, and you get an iPad and you can make notes, you can get rid of stuff, you can,
Mhm.
it's quick.
It seems like this should be, this should be an agenda item that we specifically have a conversation, flesh out the ideas, explore all of our options. And then.
We might
have
wanna
a
get
Plan.
some
Mm.
advice or counsel from our new IT people that do this in
Yes.
other communities too. To say, hey, this worked well over here and this didn't work well over
Right.
here.
Are we thinking timing wise that we'd still want to get it into this year's?
With
meeting?
what now that we have this conversation, with what I see needs to happen, it probably won't happen next year.
All right. So is there any? Sorry,
Nope.
okay, is there any further discussion in town office building? If not, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And I think it's a great idea, it just seems like we need to
Yeah,
flesh it out and to your point, Mike, look at maybe a policy.
So.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, page 11, contingency, any amendments there? And if not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the select board recommend $10,000 for contingency.
So moved,
Second.
seconded, any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. Page 12, code enforcement. If there are no amendments there, I will entertain a motion.
We move the board recommend the amount of 61,000 for code enforcement.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Very much. Page 13, assessing. Any amendments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the select board recommend $42,100 for assessing.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And page 14, Public Works, Highways and Bridges.
I move that the select board recommend $1,262,553 for public works, highways and bridges.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. Page 15, Public Works Transfer Station.
I move the board recommend the amount of $95,197 for public works transfer station.
Second,
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. Page 16, Public Works Harbor.
I move that the select board recommend $31,900 for public works, harbor.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion?
Real quickly, this does not, this does not include the float.
Correct.
That's been deleted.
Yeah.
Now the floats in the capital.
Oh, right, thank
Okay.
you, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. Public Works Other, page 17, anything there?
I move the board recommend the amount of $92,750 for public works other.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Or, yeah, any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Page 18, boards and committees.
So
We need to change that number, and we did have a brief conversation about what to change that to. And we have some funds available to us already.
The group, if memory serves me, which it always does in this case, was gonna recommend $6,000.
That's it.
The group was going to recommend the comprehensive plan review amount be 6,000. To supplement the roughly 20 we have now, which would give us enough to contract with MCOG plus a little bit for if we did a mailer or wanted to have brownies or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah, the notes from the last meeting said, all we need is, I thought it's less than 6. 4,658 or something like that.
Right.
On the nose, but giving us wiggle
Okay.
Give us some wiggle room.
for mailings.
Yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so has anyone done the math?
So we're gonna change that to 6,000?
Correct,
Yeah.
So we're taking off 74.
correct.
$17,884.
Any other amendments on the page? Would someone here make a motion?
I move that the select board recommend $17,884 for boards and committees.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Nothing, all those in favor? Page 19, municipal support. If there are no amendments, would someone care to make a motion?
I recommend that the select board recommend $28,730 for municipal support.
So moved,
Second.
seconded, any discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And moving past the descriptor pages. Lots of descriptions, thank you, everybody, with 23 provider agencies.
I move that the board recommend the amount of $9,620 for provider agencies.
Moved and seconded, any discussion?
Yeah, I just have one question,
Hmm.
and it's been asked before. I can't remember the answer. Why is it that the Habitat hasn't been given $1 as a placeholder, so they don't have to redo the application process?
I believe they were given $1 2 years ago.
Yeah,
And informed that they got the $1 to keep them from having to do a petition.
right,
And if they wanted anything in the future to ask for it,
they haven't asked. for it.
and they haven't
Okay.
made a request, and so the
Okay.
budget committee said,
Yep, okay,
you got your pass.
thanks.
Did someone make a motion?
Yeah,
Thank you. All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you much. Page 24, capital improvement program, we have a reduction there. This is the removal of the $10,000 for the float.
It says 30,000.
Well, last time you had, the initial request was for 40. Last time you decided to take 20 from harbor savings and the balance from capital improvement. And recommendations to shelve the thing for at least a year.
And then we increased the fire truck fund.
Yeah.
Right, but the new float is just if we have the new ferry, right? And if
Right.
that's on hold, as far as making the ferry pen bigger, shouldn't we take out the float
Mhm.
from?
that's what we just said.
That's what we're talking.
Oh, yeah,
So that would reduce the request from 20 down to
Okay.
10 because you already took 20.
Right.
Okay,
Does that make
Well-
any sort of sense?
yes,
If you want.
it's just the descriptors, what's messing me up.
Yes, well, the
It's got-
descriptor will be
Right.
amended when we do the
Right,
next
so
draft.
it's just the peer handler, right?
Mhm.
I can't say it. Okay, thanks.
So the new number will be 235,000.
Does someone want to make a motion?
I
With
move
that
the board
number.
recommend the amount of $235,000 for capital improvement.
Second,
Moved and seconded, any discussion, further discussion? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? Thank you much. Debt service, motion please.
I move that the select board recommend $19,000 for debt service.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussions? Nothing, all those in favor? Thank you very much. And David, would you like us to move on a net to be raised?
Sure, if you want your grant, I don't think you have to actually, but you're now at the budget being proposed up 2.39%. And
What was that amount?
2.39.
2.3
Oh, nice.
at 3,093,043.
Okay.
Nice.
That's the gross budget.
So
Very
that-
happy,
Yeah, better,
very happy.
better. Anything else for budget this evening? If,
Well. So what does that change our net to be raised?
Well,
I just wanted to- Write it down here.
yeah, I mean, that should be
Deduct
really
119,778 from that.
1,327,027.
great.
Did you, I can't recall. I know you hadn't changed the numbers in the select board recommendation on the revenues, but did you ever vote on those or just change them? Maybe it would be good if you did just
Just the revenues,
on the
Total.
revenue, just,
total
Good.
revenue?
yeah.
Okay, would someone care to make that motion?
I move that the board recommend the amount of $1,765,000 and $1,766,016 for total revenue budget offsets.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you very much. Okay, well done, everybody. Let's jump back in to our packet. Yeah. That concludes our deliberations. Good luck to the budget. Select people updates. Karen, do you have one for us?
Oh, this time I do not.
Neither do I.
You have one? No?
No.
Steve?
I do not.
And neither do I. Yeah. Woo. And we have the treasurer and payroll warrants to approve and sign.
I move that we approve the treasurer's and payroll warrants.
Second.
Moved and seconded. I do have a question for the town administrator, David, and I'm just being a little lazy, but I noticed under a plowing line that there was also some float maintenance that was thrown in there with that, and I'm just wondering what that float maintenance was in February.
I'm just wondering where you pulled that rabbit out of the hat, but let me find that so I can maybe explain it to you.
We talk about Scott,
There was $1,000 for,
right, oh, 00212.
yes.
Where are you? Are you talking to plowing?
Yeah, it's in plowing and then float maintenance.
Yeah, it's under,
Together.
it's
Is
under,
that just the
it,
category?
that's the overarching harbor maintenance category. And I don't know why
Okay.
it says beach float after it, because
That's, it just sort of caught my eye. and I
Yep.
thought, "Ah, interesting. Okay, that was the only question I had. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor? Thank you very much, everybody. That was faster than I anticipated.
Yeah. So.
you've got one more.
I move that
Yeah.
we adjourn.
I will second that.
Any discussion about? I mean, I was sort of hoping to have Shane have dinner ready, but sorry, all those in favor.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go home and cook.
Yeah,
Don't go before you sign.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That's right.